Welcome to Anything Cricket. Let's talk.
Just a few weeks ago, we celebrated the fourth anniversary of the capture of the World T20 Championship. That was when the Darren Sammy led side captured the championship for the second time. And the West Indies will be, well, if things go well, if we're allowed to do so by COVID-19, will be defending that championship later this year. And I'm sure we all recall the dramatic ending to that final with Carlos Brathwaite being the hero and Stokes being the villain. But Ayana and Wayne, I think if you assess the situation now, you may see that Ben Stokes is no longer a villain. We've had a situation where Carlos Brathwaite, his career has not really taken off as he would have wanted, while Ben Stokes has become the toast of England for his performances in virtually all formats. Wayne, Ayana, welcome.
Very good. Well, yes, Philip. Yes, Philip, quite aptly, there was a recent article put out by Sports Max discussing Carlos Brathwaite, and the title that they give to the piece was The Rise and Fall of Carlos Brathwaite. And I think that as I said, was quite an appropriate description of what has transpired in Carlos Brathwaite's career ever since that fateful day of April 3rd, 2016. And I'm sure we will also look at the process that Ben Stokes' career has taken since then.
The fateful day, Wayne?
Well, it was a fateful day. Yes, it was. I mean, it marked a new beginning. Well, first of all, outside, in the context of the subject that we're discussing,
okay,
it marked a new beginning for Carlos Brathwaite.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
when I saw because Cricinfo has been doing a lot of reflecting these days because there's absolutely nothing new to report.
Very true.
And I haven't really been keeping track of the dates and days in particular because every day typically feels the same. And then I realized that it was 4 years since this occasion. And
I thought you were going to say a fateful occasion at one point.
I thought about it. But I always held this disappointment in Carlos Brathwaite after he had a brilliant start to Test cricket. In the middle of it, he struck those 4 sixes in the T20 final. And after he was dropped from the Test team, he became a very valuable player on the domestic T20 circuit. And I just thought that his career went in a totally different direction than I had imagined. And now in 2020, we have a guy who was the West Indies T20 captain at one point in time, and now he's no longer in any West Indies team. Some may say that he's unlucky, but from my perspective, I think that he hasn't done himself any justice. Because if we're fair, we all agree that first-class cricket is the foundation. So regardless of how many commitments and opportunities that you get worldwide, I still think that you need to contribute to the first-class system. And Carlos Brathwaite's last first-class match having been a test match against India in 2016. It's very disappointing. And I think that shows why his career is at the point it is now. I mean, Ben Stokes last year.
Hold on a minute.
Won,
You're saying that the last first class match, Carlos Brathwaite played was a test match?
yes, in 2016.
Okay.
In
So
2016.
in other words,
And
he's not played first class cricket since being dropped
Since
from the testing.
2016.
since
And that was
being
against
dropped
India.
from the since being dropped from the testing, correct. Here's Ben Stokes. No. Wisden Cricketer of the Year, led England to the, some might say, also a World Cup winner. He led England to an unbelievable test win in the Ashes, and pretty much at the peak of his career. So how do we guide players in the future to deal with feats at such an early point in their career in order to maintain and actually become the success that we would like them to be?
Well, it's going to be difficult if you look at the one consideration that seems to factor in with Caribbean players. I say that with some hesitation because I wanted to be convinced that I'm being fair. If we look at money, and we talk about people being able to support their families, and we know that is important. But cricket is not a clerical situation where you pretty much can learn in most types of situations that you pretty much learn the nature of your job. And once you understand what you need to do, you can go to work every day and do that for 30 years. Yes, there are times when there will be changes that you need to adjust them, but those changes are not going to come in a dynamic sense. And generally speaking, you don't necessarily have somebody out there trying to make you fail. So it's a totally different thing from, a competition, from a sport. So what I'm saying is that it's okay to talk about getting money to support your family. That's important. But you can't necessarily go about it the same way that someone in a different type of career would go about it. Okay? And therefore, you've got to consider other things. And I think I've said often enough that you learn to play cricket in the longer format. Players nowadays want to learn in the shorter formats. But you learn to play cricket in the longer formats. And when you really get good at that, then you can adjust. He actually stopped developing after the World Cup because he didn't play first class cricket. Ben Stokes continued to play all formats of cricket, apart from, he's had a challenge outside of cricket, but cricket wise, he has continued to play all formats. So the fact that he has done well and Carlos Brathwaite has been on pause now for a while is absolutely no surprise to me. Now I'll pause a bit before we get into, let's say, who to blame, the type of discussion.
Quite appropriate question, Philip. Who is to blame? We saw Ben Stokes from that day go from zero to hero. And I don't need to go over all that Ayana just enlightened us with. Carlos Brathwaite, on the other hand, has gone from hero, I wouldn't say to zero, definitely
pretty close,
not, but
not in any team.
His stocks
not even
have
a
fallen.
Barbados team.
Well, his stocks have fallen somewhat. Let's put it that way. Every level, in all formats, in that he's lost the captaincy of the T20 team and his place. He's also been dropped from the ODI side, and of course, well, he hasn't made himself available basically for the test team. Although, I mean, I must give it to him. It was quite unfortunate, in all fairness to him, that he would have lost his place in the test setup after a very bright and promising beginning. Mind you, though, again, as pointed out, he has not made himself available to play at the first class level ever since that test match against India in 2016 for various reasons that have been pointed out. Yes, he had to look after his family. There was some lucrative offers around. So who do you blame? You know, who do you blame for him being out of the test setup when he has actually virtually been totally absent from the first class setup here in the Caribbean? I mean, we had cricket seasons in 2016, 2017, we had 2017, 2018, we had 2018, 2019, and at no point Carlos Brathwaite made himself available to play in the regional competition. And you know, it was quite interesting to hear him in an interview a few weeks ago with Alexis Nunes on ESPN Cricket Info, mention the fact that he acknowledges that his batting in particular suffered from the fact that he was not playing proper cricket for such a long time, and and thereby again leading to the fall in his stocks.
When if I can jump in there, you said that he admitted that he's not been playing proper cricket, and and those were his words, proper cricket.
No, the proper cricket is my word. Proper, quote unquote, is mine. But he did admit that yes, he has not been having that opportunity to hone his batting skills in competition because of the cricket he's been playing.
So whatever words he used, the sense of it is that he recognizes that he's not developed his batting skills. Now, I don't know if this is something he's only just recognized, but it is unfortunate that he didn't recognize back in 2016 that to develop his cricket in whatever format, he's got to play long-form cricket. And, you know, it's okay to talk about money and supporting your family, but sometimes you've got to be ahead of the game and recognize that the best way to do that is to play for as long as possible. And I think nobody demonstrates that better than a person like Shivering Chandrakar, who would probably still be playing now if they're allowed. Okay? If you can play for a long time at a high level, then the rest takes care of itself. And you can only do that if you have a certain degree of success. And you're only going to get that measure of success if you properly prepare yourself. Unfortunately, red players are young and enthusiastic. They often don't see these things that we can see so easily, you know, when we are much more mature. And this is where mentorship comes in. So I have to ask that question. What was he being told by those around him who he maybe tended to listen to? Because clearly his lack of success has come about. And this is, I say clearly, but I should say, in my opinion, his success has come about because he has not been playing, I'm going to say, proper cricket, and therefore he has not developed his skills. When Carlos Brathwaite struck those 4 sixes in the World Cup, he was not necessarily even a consistent member of the T20 side. He was still pretty much on the fringe of the side. And, you know, he still needed to develop. Didn't do that. He went on pause, and his career has dropped off. Ayana?
No, yes. You know, Philip, you asked who's to blame and who's around him, guiding him.
Yeah.
And if I had to point a finger, I would point a finger at the management team involved in the selection or exclusion process that saw Carlos Brathwaite walk away from the test team. Because here you have a guy, 59, 2, 69, did not bat, 0, and 51. There's no way a player can contribute these scores to a team and not be included. There has to be some plan to develop this player to get maximum results from him. Carlos Brathwaite used to open for banks. So why didn't we create a particular plan for him? And even if we think about it, the West Indies top and middle order in particular has been struggling for a very long time. You know, so who says that Carlos Brathwaite didn't have the ability to become a top order batsman? Yes, he bowls a bit, but analyze how do we get the best results out of a player. And I find that in the region, we have what we call bits and pieces cricketers because they can do a bit of both, but we don't spend enough time trying to specialize in order to get maximum results. We try to accommodate and say, okay, I can get 20 from you here, and maybe if I need you to, you can bowl a couple overs and probably take a wicket or two. Instead of actually trying to find guys who will make 50s and 100s or take 4 and 5 wickets. And the overall attitude seems to be trying to accommodate players to get minimum performances from them and hopefully hoping that it adds up to 100.
Ayana, you said
Carlos,
something earlier about you called his scores and you said that a player like that shouldn't. You suggested shouldn't have difficulty making the side. If you're talking about a West Indies side, in the glory days, so to speak, already Australians were on top, or a side like the current Indian side, those scores are not going to guarantee you anything. But I think you were even more on track when you got into the fact that other people were not performing, and that's the thing that I really want to focus on. That he did that at a time when the recognized batsmen were doing virtually nothing. And to my mind, it was really short-sighted, and short-sighted is the best way I can describe it, without describing it the way that it should be described. It was very short-sighted of those in charge at the time to allow him to walk away. I'm not saying that he could not have been dropped for the next game, because you know what you're trying to achieve in that particular game in terms of the balance to decide whether you want an extra spinner or whatever, that may be necessary. But we had 18 cricket since then. Has he ever been approached about making himself available for the 18 tour where he would bat in the top 5? You know, and this is the very thing administration found out in terms of getting him into the 18 setup, whereby he can explore. We can see if, I mean, anybody who saw those innings, and if you know Carlos Brathwaite, you would know that there was no fluke involved there. But just in case you didn't have the perception to recognize that, putting him in the 18 would have given you the chance to see what he's really made of in the bat. And of course, his bowling was good enough. I mean, it was his bowling that got him selected in the first place. So it certainly would have been good enough for him to maintain a play as a batting all-rounder. But you know, this goes beyond Carlos Brathwaite, if I may quickly say before we go back to Wayne. The lack of vision by those in authority at that time is just a reflection of why we are where we are now. Because Carlos Brathwaite is not the only one whose talent has gone to this. He may be the only one who was a star one day, or one of the few who was a star one day and now has not gone on. But in this region, we have allowed too many players with talent to just fade into the background. And until we can address that, no matter how much talent we talk about, like everyone who we talk to says, oh, we've got the talent. Yeah, you've got the talent, but if you don't know what to do to develop that talent, it's not going to help you.
Carlos Brathwaite is a victim of a thinking in Caribbean cricket of a disrespect, let's say, for specialization. I say this in that he was misdiagnosed from quite early and thrust into this role of a bowling all-rounder.
Misdiagnosed, right, like that.
Misdiagnosed. I am convinced of that. That Carlos Brathwaite's batting is his major strength, and we did not exploit that area of his play. I remember there was a time when Carlos Brathwaite, when West Indies was struggling for whatever reason for opening batsmen in the one-day international team. And I thought that here is a perfect opportunity for the likes of a Carlos Brathwaite with his abilities with the bat to step up and take his place and show and be given that opportunity to show what he had to offer with the bat. And I thought that we missed that opportunity because we continued to thrust him into this role of this bowling all-rounder. You know what happened? You remember the argument? there was no place in the team for Carlos Brathwaite and Jason Holder because they both served the same purpose. And that was the reason given for Carlos Brathwaite's elimination or discarding in the test team in the first instance, despite those scores that we saw, which came in the lower order.
Do you think, Wayne, that England would say that they don't have enough room for another all-rounder, let's say, of the quality of the men's team? In other words, what I'm saying,
I think that question answers itself.
What I'm saying, Wayne, is that division really should not have been an exclusionary type thing. We in this party were like to get rid of. What really should have been the thinking is how can we develop these two all-rounders, that we have two world-class all-rounders. That really should be the thing. Not that we've got two fellas with similar ability, let's discard one and utilize the other. That doesn't make sense.
And as I said, because of the misdiagnosis, it was not
the lack of vision
that Carlos Brathwaite was really a batting all-rounder and that his batting was his major strength. As a matter of fact, when I look at Carlos Brathwaite's record now, over the period of time that he has been involved in international cricket, I think I can safely conclude that Carlos Brathwaite is really a better test player than he is a white ball player. I think that is something that we missed along the line also.
You say we, or you mean? I don't think you mean we, man. I think
we as in West Indies.
Oh, I see.
We
Okay.
West Indies cricket.
But I don't think you should be afraid to put
we have lost out on a tremendous potential. Carlos Brathwaite playing at the test level. I thought that he had so much to offer, and somebody missed the boat somewhere along the line.
And
But Go ahead.
Sorry for that. But the reason why I thought this discussion was important is because we have Kyle Mears, Shamar Springer, Naeem Young, Matthew Ford, Justin Graves. I mean, forgive me because I don't know some of the. Then there's Kevin Hodge out of the Windward Islands with potential of being an all-rounder. His batting is his strength. But you get my point. And I would like to see these guys misdiagnosed as well and not be able pigeonholed and not be able to spread their wings and show that maximum potential because of a lack of vision. We are in 2020. The world is changing before our eyes. We need to readjust too. Or we will stay at the bottom where we are right now.
Ayana, I think another mistake that was made by administration at that time too, the primary school, what I can call when is the one with all the words and terms today, but the primary school mentality that resulted in Carlos Brathwaite being the captain. When he replaced Darren Sammy as captain, it reminded me of school days when, and it still happens pretty much in current school time, where you look to pick the hero, the best player, or to put as captain without any thought. I mean, come on. If you ask a bunch of youngsters to select their primary school cricket captain, they're going to go either for their friend or those who can rise above that will go for who they perceive as the best player. Okay? They're not going to stop to think who can set the best field or who gets along well and can relate to the players, nothing like that. And that pretty much was what happened with Carlos Brathwaite. This guy hit 4 sixes. You're vexed with Darren Sammy, make him captain. To my mind, that was, I can't even find the words, the acceptable words, Ayana, to tell you how you feel about that. That was just utter nonsense. And this is not a discredit to Brathwaite, because it is not that I don't think Brathwaite would have been a good captain. In fact, I actually think Brathwaite was to some extent learning the job when he was removed. But it certainly affected in a negative way. It certainly affected in a bad way his progress. So the mismanagement or the misdiagnosis of him, yes, that affected his being tossed away from Test cricket. His own lack of desire in terms of fighting to get back his play, and then that, I have to call it that silly move to make him the captain because he hit 4 sixes, because you were upset with Darren Sammy at the time. So
although
go ahead.
If we could jump in here, I think Carlos Brathwaite, I think you said it too, has excellent potential as a leader.
Yes, I do.
I recall Carlos
think so.
Brathwaite. I recall Carlos Brathwaite at the helm of the Barbados team earlier in his career, and I thought he did a fine job. We know of his inspirational performance with the CCC a couple of seasons ago in the regional Super 50 competition.
Wait, if I may jump in. Sorry to cross you, and if you haven't made your thought, hold on to it. You're actually supporting what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
He was given the captaincy at the wrong time. Just when it appeared that he was getting into this thing called captaincy, he was dismissed. And now that he has excelled at it in terms of leading the UWA and things of that nature, he's nowhere wrong. So what are we really doing? As I said, I'm concerned not only for Carlos Brathwaite, but if these sort of decisions are decisions that we've been ignored, we're going to lose a lot more players. Continue.
Again, Carlos becomes a victim of the thinking. Carlos Brathwaite, the all-rounder, there's no Kyron Pollard has been brought back as captain, so obviously he has to take his place. We have the other all-round cricketers, the Andre Russell. I mean, who can fault Andre Russell when he's available, or when he makes himself available? Jason Holder was also in the T20 setup at the time. So somebody had to suffer. Somebody had to make room. And unfortunately, just as it had happened because of the thinking with the test team some 4 years ago, the same thing happens, that Carlos Brathwaite happens to be the fall guy once again, because there were too many of his type in the team.
One of the key things that I think we can take away is that management has no plan, and it continues to carry West Indies cricket in a circus. And if we really want to get back to those glory days, we need to get busy and put pen to paper in order to become victorious.
Well said, Ayana.
And of course, I don't think it's the end for Carlos Brathwaite. Still a young man, 31 years old, of tremendous potential, and I expect to hear from him again.
Carib Vision is now included in the OneSpot Media subscription package. It's simple. Search for onespotmedia.com, then log in, scroll over to the Live TV and Radio tab, and select CVTV from the drop-down menu, and watch the latest in Caribbean culture, news, and sports. It's that simple. Carib Vision is now on OneSpot Media. Subscribe today.
onespotmedia.com.
That's our show. Thanks for watching. Join us again soon for another episode of Anything Cricket. Let's talk.